and learning how to draw owls. Okay, so let's take a look at this great horned owl here. Look at how the eyes are gold and the pupil is black. Look at how they almost have this V shape here. And the V ends up going up to these feathers up here. These aren't actually their horns, and they're not actually the ears, they're just feathers. The ears are inside their head here. And actually one ear is higher and one ear is lower to maximize them when they're hunting, for them to hear all sorts of different sounds coming from high and low and all around. So there's so many different types of owls. We talked about 130 different owl species throughout the world. We talked about how they're nocturnal. Nocturnal means that they are active at night. So some humans have to stay up all night and work, and then they sleep during the day. But humans prefer to be awake during the day and sleep at night. Okay, let's see, when they eat their prey, they're gonna eat the whole animal. So when they're hunting their prey, they would catch it with their talons, and then they would be eating, let's say, mites, rats, birds, rabbits, skunks, insects, crabs, fish, snakes. Whatever they're hunting, they eat the whole thing. At the same time, they eat the whole snake or the whole bird, and then later they cough up the feathers or the feet or anything that they don't want to digest, which is an interesting way to eat your meals. Okay, so see how we have kind of a V in here? We're going to end up drawing that V on the page. If this is one way to do a great horned owl. And then instead of doing a whole circle here, you could do a whole circle, but if you wanted to look a little bit more fierce, you could do a circle but stop at the line. So instead of finishing your circle, just stop on the line right here. So it's almost like you're doing a circle, but you stop because the top of the eye is a little bit cut off. And there's a lot of different ways you can do the eyes. We could make the eyes looking this way if we wanted to, and maybe even do a little circle that's going to be the highlight in the eye, and then color that circle in dark, dark, dark black. I'm using my watercolor pencil, so it makes it really, really dark. Okay, and then we can do another V for a nose. And then for the body, I'm going to have you do it really simple. It's almost like we're doing a big oval around the body. But we do want these this V part to stick out. So I'm going to go about in the middle of the V, and I'm going to come and make an oval. And now you can even continue the oval to the top of its head. And now for wings, you could just do a curved line and another curved line. We could have a branch here, and you could do the talons sticking out. The talons are 2 in the front and 2 in the back. So I'm going to put a little triangle on the end of those. And then we could kind of draw in some of the plumage or the feathers in here. Owls are typically grays and browns and tan. So you could use those colors for your owl, or you can use any colors you want. I'm going to take my watercolor pencils, and I'm just using the side of the watercolor pencil. And these are feathers, so I'm just kind of doing some jagged lines everywhere because they are feathers. Let's get some up here. There's so many interesting patterns on here. It's a little bit hard to try to depict with a pencil. Usually, boys and girls, we paint these, and we make giant ones and paint them, but since we're going to do it this year online, we're just going to have you try the watercolor pencils. Also, owls are often at night, out at night, so if you wanted to do some kind of moon, you could do a full moon with a circle. Remember, sometimes you can draw your circle, go around a few different times, and then you can keep the lines that you like and erase the lines that you don't like. So you could have a full circle. Or if you want to do a crescent moon, here's a tip. Act like you're drawing a circle. So you're drawing half of a circle and then stop. And then make your crescent within that half. And that's a good way to make a crescent moon. because if you think about it, it's the moon is going to be a circle. So when you make your crescents out of almost a circle, you're going to get some really good looking crescents. Okay, so you can do that. We can color that in too. I could go ahead and make my moon white or yellow, and then do some colors for the sky behind it. I know I've got that big word. I'll just color right through there, that big word nocturnal. What other kind of animals are nocturnal? You might even have one living in your house. Does anyone have a hamster or a cat living in their house? Well, guess what? Those animals are nocturnal. You might have noticed that your cat sometimes is up at night, or your hamster. Dogs are not nocturnal. Dogs sleep at night. Okay, we can add some of the water to it if you want to. You can try out your new watercolor pencils. The watercolor pencils can be used a couple different ways. I usually draw first and then add the water, but you can also get the tip of the pencil wet and use it that way. Although, I'll show you what happens. You do get like a very distinctive line when you dip the brush in the water. Let's try it. Okay, here's my black brush. I dipped it in water. So it's just an intense line that you get compared to if it wasn't wet. Let me just get it dried off. If it wasn't wet, you would get a line like that. So that's the difference. Okay, let's try another owl.